in history! Take a picture! Yo!
Not a lot really on teams. It looks like he was a part of this thing called the Amazon University Esports Masters that he did a lot. Looks like through 2021 to 2023. So maybe that's something that he was doing in college. And there we go. There is Rooney right there, the Italian. One of the few Italians that have competed in CRL, I believe. Shout out to our producers for that. I think Keith is one of the other few. And then, yeah, I mean, you go to, I mean, he's got some sweet swag though. It looks like he's got the cards in the back. He's got all the, he's got a lot of the placards that you get for being in person live. You got a lot of the rewards. You see the Clash Fest box up there in the top. So shout out to you, Rooney. It looks like he's been a long-time fan of Clash Royale. Surgical Goblin might be coming after some of your stuff. You got to watch out. Shout out to Surge. Big love for that guy. Glad to see him back in the competitive scene. And then, you know, I tried to not say a lot about Mohamed Light because we'll probably be talking about him for the next 6 months quite a bit. The best to ever do it. You know, two-time world champion. Didn't get the back-to-back, but he's able to come back in 2024 after doing it in 2022. The undisputed greatest player to ever touch a phone or tablet in Clash Royale, back in the golden chair. It's Mohamed Light, top of your screen, going up against Rooney at the bottom, and we're starting with an Evo Witch and a Zap. Juicy, what are we looking at here?
Evo Wizard and a Zap. I mean,
Wizard,
I don't know.
sorry.
Yeah, it seems to be probably a giant deck. I don't know what else it could be, really. And Rooney, on the other hand, with the probably just going to be a roll hogs deck of some sort or some sort of spam deck. Interesting.
Recruits. Demolisher. So it looks like going a little out of the box here is Rooney in game number 1.
Monk, Tombstone, Zap, Wizard, and Zappies.
Okay.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is Graveyard, but I usually don't see Zap paired with Graveyard. You usually rather have a Snowball or Arrows, something like that.
So Evo Wizard here in cycle. Evo Wizard also great in where it's at. Doesn't feel overpowered.
Yeah.
Doesn't feel
agree.
useless. And
Goblin
the curse. I do love that the Goblin Curse has become a thing in Clash Royale. It took a minute. It took a couple of iterations of the card itself and decks for it to be in, and which archetype do we play it in, but it turned out to be a pretty fascinating card at the end of the day.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's really solid. I think that a lot of people have realized that it's not just good for swarms, but when paired with certain units, especially the Goblin Machine, it does a great job of just weakening those cards and getting that damage amplification.
Yeah, the damage amp is actually a huge thing. Even when you have to play it desperately on defense, you can really see it come through sometimes. So really love the versatility of the card, and I think that's one of its strengths and weaknesses, which is what makes it great.
Yeah, going back to Mo's deck, I think this has got to be a roll giant deck, by the way, just with with a fisherman in here. So interesting stuff. So roll giant wizard with curse zap going against Rooney with the roll hogs, roll recruits. I think the wizard is going to be the trump card for Mo in this situation. That splash damage. Look at it. I mean, he's taking out literally everything on the left-hand lane, and it's even getting damage to the right-hand side.
Yeah, and Mo's figured out his trump card, if you will, and now Rooney needs to figure out that flying machine can cause a lot of pain for Mohamed Light, not really having a way to directly get on top of it, not even having a lot of air defense. Biggest thing, though, is obviously he's got that monk, so he's going to always try to use that monk in the same lane as the flying machine, activate that ability as soon as the flying machine's on top, and now he takes care of the card that is causing him issues or would cause him issues, whereas, as you just pointed out, Juicy, not really a good way for Rooney to get on top of the wizard.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, the arrows are just not enough. Maybe you could get a flying machine to lock onto it, but that's what Mo's got the monk for. Monk is doing a great job deflecting flying machine and keeping his wizard alive and protected as he cycles to another one, yet again, Evo'd.
And this is just that moment where if you're, and you knew it was going to come down, I was going to say this is that moment that you know that the offense is coming, and you know if you're Rooney, like, Mo's about to hit me. We're getting into just 80 seconds remaining in the game. You know he's going to go on offense. He's been playing nothing but defense, and he ends up not taking the damage lead, but getting a couple shots in. 2151, excuse me, on that left-hand side. 2151 is still the lowest tower. 2202 is Mo's lowest tower.
Yeah, and this is how Mo plays this game. He's just really solid. He's locked in. He's trying to win the bridge battles. He's trying to just min-max everything a little bit. But he's got a big defense ahead of him. Pigs on the right, Gob Demolition on the left, uses the Gob Curse to allow the Wizard to get lots of value as he cycles to another Wizard, trying to deal with the right side. The Fire Spirit hits, though. A lot of damage coming through. He needs to make a roll giant push right now.
Yeah, and this is going to be a big push here. We got the Monk up front, the Wizard behind. We're going to go recruits right at the bridge, and it looks like he does get the RG down. Monk ability just in time. There's the curse. There's the cage. Mo's still defending on that left-hand side. 1606, 1678. Wow. RG shot is in. Nothing there to get on top of the RG. Zappy goes down. Mohamed Light screams into the lead, and you can see Rooney knows he was just got.
And another Wizard in cycle yet again. Evo this time. Arrow's going to be blocked by the shield. Fire Machine is trying to take it out. Gob Demolisher is trying to make it to the tower. But the Gob Curse makes sure that the Wizard is able to one-shot absolutely everything on the right-hand side. And Mohamed Light taking game number 1 versus David Rooney.
As my good friend and co-caster Rich says, it's Mohamed Light's world. We're just playing in it. And Rooney just felt like he was in it that whole time. I'm sure he felt like he was just barely hanging on, getting a little bit of breakthroughs here and there. But I got to tell you, Juicy, we've been calling Mo's games for quite some time. It's happened before where he's lost in this situation. But for the most part, when he holds on to his win condition until we're deep into overtime, you usually know he's just figured out everything that you've got to throw at him. And he knows that he can either steal it with spell value or his win condition is going to come in just a couple times and win the game. It's something that he's done for a long time. It's something that Ruben used to do a lot as well. Not playing with his food, but more so just like letting you try everything that you can. Once he's figured it out, he's like, all right, cool. Now I'm going to go on offense and win the game.
Yeah, I mean, you and Rich always talk about how the best Royal Giant players just have like abounding patience when it comes to playing the Royal Giant itself. I mean, Mohamed Light played 2 Royal Giants that game. He played the first one, seemingly just to kind of throw it away, get the Evo and cycle. And then, like you said, he just had solid defense, cycling to multiple Evo Wizards, using his 2 small spells to really kind of control the map and get the Wizards in cycle, the Monk deflecting the machine. And then finally, after a seemingly good push by Rooney, he was just able to full counter push with the Monk ability, keeping the Royal Giant Evo as healthy as possible and just getting an absurd amount of damage at the right-hand side.
Yeah, that's a great call there. It really did feel like that first RG was just to kind of like see what he would do with it, but mainly, like you said, get that RG Evo and cycle, play defense again, and then, I got a Monk up front, I got an Evo Wizard behind, let's get the Evo RG down at the bridge, and let's just completely overwhelm you. So beautiful stuff there from our defending world champion in Mohamed Light, also the guy that's crossed $1 million. $1 million in prize money from a mobile sport, from a mobile esport. And it is so cool to have that guy playing our game, and he's still at the top of his game. You know, we know a couple years ago, it's like college became a thing, and obviously the heavy is the crown when you've won the world championship. You know, Mugi's a guy that we're still waiting to see a bit more of last year and hopefully this year. I do know that he was competing this year, and I know that he wasn't far from being here this weekend, so excited that a lot of our former world champions are all in the mix, right? We have Igor in this competition. We saw Ruben in the warm-up. Obviously, Mohamed Light, talking about Mugi. So, you know, they're all still there, man. We're all still hooked on CR.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing about Mo, though, that is just so unprecedented in Clash Royale, but also just, I mean, I feel like in sports or esports in general, a lot of the time when you are the best, a lot of people can become complacent, and I don't know, Mo, he just continues to have a drive. He didn't perform at the highest level that we are known to see him in the CRL warm-up. Tourist instead, really showing up and showing his face here. But I think that Mo since then has been grinding, practicing a lot, and I mean, we're seeing the fruits of his efforts already in his first match of today.
I know, I do love that about Mo. He's just got that fiery competitor in him, even though he's like the nicest dude you'll ever meet. Very soft-spoken, very chill, very humble, but that dude hates losing. As you said, Juicy, I hate losing. I hate losing more than I love winning. One of my favorite quotes of yours. We got Joel Murray in the chat here on YouTube asking if Ian77 has played yet. He has not played yet. We are in our second matchup of the day. He's going to be actually not until our 7th matchup of the day because Ian did so well in the qualifiers that he's got a first round bye. Just to remind you guys, we are going to go to sub and Kitashiyan after this match, and then Igor or Khazardy versus Ta. And then, oh, thank you so much. Shout out to our production team. We have our first upper bracket match set in the second round. We got Adriel going up against Batan, who was able to 2-0 xopxsam. And as I was just mentioning, we have Vitor, Ian77, and LucasXGamer.
Yep.
Always good to have Lucas in the mix, isn't it?
Yeah, always, always. Yeah, Lucas is so interesting. Like, he's just so good, and you know he has the talent. But we talk about all the time, but I think he's just one of those players where his emotions are a blessing and a curse. Where when he's really feeling himself, he's playing on another level. But when he's like having a tough time, or maybe he's just tilted with the meta, a lot of the time he can struggle. But it seems like he is really enjoying the current meta, and he seems very confident since he's already got that first round bye.
Yeah, Lucas, big fan of Lucas. I love that that you talk about his emotion. One of his strengths, one of his weaknesses, and that's why we love him. Obviously, our number 3 in the world last year at World Finals, so very excited to see his match as we get into that second round. But right now, we're going back to hopefully Mortar, as we're seeing Evo Bats and Skeleton King here paired with Goblin Gang. You know that I'm very happy that Mortar is firmly in the meta right now, Juicy. Probably not the best archetype, but definitely one of the more viable ones.
Yeah, it just seems like this Mortar deck, no matter what, is always usable. And I think that's just something that if you're looking for a deck, that's always one of the traits that you always have to look for.
So, I mean, parts of this you would say looks like Expo, I guess. Parts of this looks like Graveyard. And parts of this looks like, I guess it's going to be Drill. There we go, from Mo Light. As you see the Snowball with the Archers, Goblins. I guess it makes more sense.
Interesting. Yeah, so Archers in a Drill deck. Haven't seen that before. But,
yeah.
Yeah, the Evo Archers are pretty strong here. I kind of like the pick. And I think it's simply because he used arrows in the last game. Archers Evo really, really strong with the arrows out. He wasn't able to play this match since Rooney played it in his first game of this duel.
Yeah, that's actually a really interesting thing to think about as we kind of move through and, you know, how strong Evos are and the cards out. A lot of times when we think about spells being out or cards being out, Juice, in the past we usually talk about like win condition, but when you talk about the strength of split archers or archers without an ability to get on top of them, that's a really great point that you make, because they are a nuisance.
Yeah, I love that you called out the split. Obviously, if he plays them same lane, Rooney most likely has Fireball for his last card. He will be able to just Fireball them out. Looks like he will use on defense this time, but at some point we're probably going to see the split archers, and that's just going to be like really hard for Rooney to do anything, because when you have one archer on both lanes, they're just both covering, and one of them is going to lock in the tower with the poison. It's going to be a solid damage lead for Mo without even having to use his Drill Evo Snowball yet.
Fortunate Evo Bats there. Not only do they get played a little bit into the poison, but a little bit high, so they sneak in front of the Skeleton King as well. So not the best use of one of the stronger Evos in the game. I still think Evo Bats are very, very strong just because the cycle is cheap. They can get very powerful, obviously, as they get a couple attacks in, but very easy to clean up if dealt with early. The Evo Snowball comes out here for Mo. Nice connection there. Both Goblins on tower all the way down to 1436.
Interesting. Will we see the Mortar lock? No. Mo with the Mighty Miner down on the board. The important thing for Rooney in this situation is when the Evo Snowballs in cycle, he needs to save the log specifically for that drill, or else Mo is going to continue to get this massive amount of damage every time.
Yeah, that Evo Snowball already proving to be quite a problem for two of our competitors today. And, you know, as everyone knows that plays this game, it's like you got to keep track of those Evos. Evo Firecracker is one of them. Evo Snowball is one of them. Other Evos are a little bit less punishing, like Evo Archers, for instance. Like, yes, they're coming, but they're not quite as quick damage as the other ones that I just mentioned.
Evo Bats forcing out the Mighty Miner ability. Archers are distracting Mortar for now, but it doesn't get the shot in time. And we're heading into triple elixir, Andrew. I think Mo's just in a really solid damage lead here. It's going to be tough for Rooney to come back. Wow.
And he does the deep drill. Skeleton King away, gets the poison in, and like I said before, man, it's Mo's world. We're just playing in it. I know it's like hyperbolic to say, and it's fun to say, but like when you see him pulling off stuff like that, when he's already got such a dominant lead, you know, Rooney's just sitting there going, okay, yeah, this is why he's the best in the world.
And in card logs, with the log, he's able to clean up pretty well. But look, once again, these evil archers are shredding absolutely everything in their path as Mo continues to cycle spells in his right-hand tower to finish out the game. Rooney gives up. Evil archers with the lock. And that's going to be a 2-0 sweep for Mohamed Light.
4 archers on the board on the right-hand side. Complete dominance from our defending world champion, doing it with 2 very unique decks. It's not really about the win condition in the deck. It's more about the cards surrounding it. And, you know, they're kind of wacky and weird, and you're looking at them. But what I'm thinking, and I'm wondering if this is what Mo is thinking, is he goes, all right, man, I know what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to play a lot of BO5s in 2025 because I'm going to be in those finals, whether it's upper, lower, or grand finals. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to start to build decks that are still very strong, that are just a little bit weird looking, so that when I get to that 4th and 5th deck, I can absolutely dominate.
Yeah, I mean, Mo's so good with the deck picks. We saw the Evo Archers get a lot of value. We saw the Evo Snowballs synergizing so well with the drill once again. And it seems like your favorite deck, that Mortar deck, is really struggling in our first monthly finals. I just can't really seem to break through. I think, once again, that is one of the struggles of that deck. If you're going against a good player that knows how to control that Mortar, I mean, it's tough. It's tough to get damage.
Totally, and you start to feel the pressure of only getting minor damage, and then let's say you're like, okay, I'm committing to only doing minor damage, and then all of a sudden your opponent catches 2 minors, and then you feel the panic, right? And again, I really love the call out, and I know it seems so simple, but it's just if arrows are out, let's get archers in game 2, and they were such a problem throughout that entire game that, you know, sometimes maybe it is better to just think a little smaller scale in terms of, you know, when you're looking at duels. Like, as we've said before, it's a lot of times we talk about win conditions specifically, or because spells are out, it's like, oh, log and arrows are out, let's go with bait, or fireball, bomb tower out, let's go royal hogs. But something as simple as arrows are out, let's go Evo archers, and then you saw Mo absolutely punish there. So Juice, we're rolling through our day. 2 matches in, only 4 games played, 2 sweeps, 1 upset, 1, I think, exactly what you would expect in terms of Mohamed Light rolling on through. So Mohamed Light will play Vitor when we get into the second round. Adriel will be playing it up against Batan. And now we have an interesting one here between Sub and Kitashiyan, the 7th monthly finals winner back in 2023. And when you look at his run, you know, not having the best luck in the group stage, but obviously still getting here over other big names in the game. Vitor started his 2023 World Finals campaign going up against Not Afraid. He 2-0'd Not Afraid. Then he went on to face Pandora. This is a good year for Pandora. Vitor ends up losing 0-2 in the upper bracket quarterfinals and gets sent down below to the lower bracket round 2, where he faced up against who we just saw in Adriel, and that was the end of Vitor's run in the 2023 World Finals. But here he is, look at him, same smile, same patented smile, but he's got a little bit of not quite a goatee because they're not connected, but I like it. I like the stash, I like the facial hair. It's so crazy, dude. I mean, even with you, and this is just making me sound like a boomer, but it's like, you know, doing this for 8 seasons now, it's just so crazy to watch all of you guys grow up. Like, looking at Igor and Vitor, they look like grown men versions of the guys I used to commentate on. We used to be
literal children. I mean, I was 16 when I started playing in the CRL League, and I'm sure Vitor pretty similar. I mean, we're getting old, man. We're all getting old.
If you guys are old, then that makes Rich and I dinosaurs. And for those in the chat asking about Rich, asking about Josh, don't worry. The boys are all back. We're all back in town. It's just scheduling and things like that. So do not worry. You'll see a whole team of commentators that you guys have gotten used to over the last few years. We should all be back in fighting form soon. Just like Mohamed Light with his juice box is one of the most threatening people in the world when drinking a juice box. It's become kind of like his signature thing to do on broadcast, which I think is kind of hilarious and awesome. But yeah, Momo here after a very, very strong start to his day as well, right? You know, Mo going up against Rooney. I think us and the people at home really expected it to be a pretty dominant showing from the former world champion, or the defending world champion. But I think the more important thing about it, Juice, was that Mo came out with that RG Evo Wizard deck with Curse and Tombstone and Zappies, so just a little bit different than what we've been seeing on ladder. And then same thing in game number 2 was that drill deck with the Evo Archers. So here we go, wall breakers for the first time today, but coming out from both players is already looking like a mirror matchup.
Yeah, so minor wall breakers, almost a straight mirror matchup. Evo bats from both players. I mean, this is going to be fun to watch, Andrew. I mean, we have a just straight up mirror matchup. With these mirror matchups, a lot of the time, it's just going to come down to the itty bitty micro interactions. Who's getting their minor on the tower more often? Who's getting their Evo wall breakers, their Evo bats and cycle more often? Who is able to really stay on top of every single little play, prevent all damage in all situations?
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, this is... A lot of people know me as the guy that loves playing Mortar, but my second favorite win condition out in the game is just like minor wall breakers, like spam. Yep. It's just so fun. I love it, whether it's with like a poison or, you know, whether it's with NATO and Magic Archer. Like, I just really love wall breakers. So this is a really exciting one to see, and you can see Vitor kind of rocking... It's weird. They actually have like kind of like a meld of the most popular version right now, because I think the most popular version has a lot of the same cards you see in Vitor's deck, but it has Mighty Miner instead of Knight.
I think he's in trouble. Yeah. Evo bats on the tower. Miner tanking. Vitor gets some Evo bats on the board as well, but it's not quite enough to prevent this damage. Yeah, as soon as I saw those Evo bats at the bridge from Mo, and Vitor had already used his Evo wall breakers. Sometimes you need Evo wall breakers in this matchup to actually defend against the bats.
And that is such a great call there from you, Juice. Yeah, and that again, that's why I love the Evo bats, is they can really turn a game on a dime instantly. I mean, it's just so brutal when you have no responses. You just saw there, 1155 now, the lowest tower on the board in this mirror matchup, essentially. And I think that's... Mohamed Light has to make a bigger mistake than he's made in probably 3 years playing competitive Clash Royale to lose this game.
Yeah, you're right. The other thing to note is just his Mighty Miner. I think he's going to be able to use the Mighty Miner with the 3-card cycle. Not only is it great for 3-card cycle to deal with everything, but the Mighty Miner ability is a great way to deal with the opposing Evo bats. So yeah, I think that makes it even more difficult for Vitor to come back in this situation.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at the responses there, you're 100% correct for Vitor. I mean, Evo bats, really, there's not a great way to get on top of them. The Evo wall breakers would have been the best way to do it, and you know Mohamed Light recognized that and punished him immediately as Vitor gets a little bit more chip damage in here, 2116 to 1155. And this is going to be most likely a pretty frustrating 2 minutes here for Vitor.
Poison down, trying to deal with the Evo bats. Mo Light just continuing to apply pressure to get the minor chip damage on the tower, though.
And no poison in cycle. Let me just put all my swarm units right at the bridge.
Another spear gobs on the right from Vitor. Spears from Mo once again to defend. I mean, this is, like you said, this is going to be frustrating for Vitor. He's making the dual lane pressure, but there it is. Mo with the defensive Evo wall breakers onto the bats, and you see Vitor shake his head. He knows that this game is probably over. He's not going to give up to the very final moment, though, which is part of the reason why I love watching him play.
Yeah, absolutely. There's something commendable about it, even though you know it's all said and done, and he even sends in the miner defensively to try to catch. That's going to do it, and it was so great that you called out those Evo bats and the Evo wall breakers, because we saw exactly the two versions of what happens when you do and you don't have the Evo wall breakers in cycle to deal with the Evo bats, and Mohamed Light doing what he does best, which is just, where's your weakness? Let me exploit it. Let's take this game. Let's move on.
Man, that was a cold line, Andrew. I like that. Yeah, he really did exactly what you said. I mean, the Evo wall breakers from Vitor on offense, I thought they were going to connect, but Mo had the defense, and without the Mighty Miner for Vitor, just a couple different cards changing the matchup. Yeah. Just the Mighty Miner versus the Knight and the Tesla versus the Gob Hut, but that's all he needed to really kind of realize what was happening and take full advantage of it for game one. Game two, both the players with the poison miner out of cycle. Both players use log as well. Maybe this is going to be the first time we'll see Log Bait. We still have not seen Log Bait, one of the most popular decks in the meta.
Yeah, Mo definitely great with Log Bait. The thing I was just thinking about, Juicy, and maybe this is just like thinking a little too deep, is, you know, once again, the Mighty Miner for Mo was such an X factor. Do you think Vitor has used the Knight because he's maybe trying to hold the Mighty Miner for like hogs or something? It just doesn't make sense to use such a worse version of the deck than if you're trying to preserve like your deck number 2.
Yeah,
I just think,
I mean,
you know what I mean? Like,
I know what you
go
mean.
ahead.
I know what you mean. I think that it really depends on what you're going up against. Mighty Miner is really good in this deck, like you said, just for the 3-card cycle. But who knows? Maybe he was worried Mo would play something where he would need multiple tanks. That's like the biggest weakness of using a champ tank, is you can't cycle multiple of them on the board. So yeah, it's just a tough situation. But Mo, once again, just like his deck picks are on another level, just always seemingly getting a slightly advantageous matchup, even if it's not like the knockout punch, as you said earlier. But it's just perfect. It's just a perfect like slight advantage in taking full advantage of it.
Yeah, I think that's perfect breakdown of the question, because it does seem to be reaching a bit far to think that far into the games, but Mo's Mighty Miner does come out strong. Shout out to Vlada here in the chat, one of our admins. He's posting the bracket there over and over for people that are asking. It's a great way for you guys to kind of follow along with the action of where we've been, where we're going. And of course, obviously, if you want to look at scores and fact check Juicy and I, which we love, you guys can also do that by looking at the bracket. So shout out to our producing team here for keeping up with the chat, and also shout out with the producing team for keeping up with the chat so that people aren't just spamming the same. I mean, they're still spamming what we expect them to spam, but there's less of it, and that's progress, ladies and gentlemen. That's progress. So here we go. Game number 2, just right around the bend. And you know, when you look at Vitor and you think about like great moments in sports, like, you know, when Tiger Woods is playing, when Michael Jordan's playing, Vitor is one of those guys that you wonder how much of his legacy is going to be hamstrung by just Mohamed Light alone, right? There's so many guys in the golden age, this golden era of Clash Royale, that have just run into this force that is Mohamed Light year after year after year. And it feels like Vitor kind of picked up right where he left off running into this dude.
I know. But I mean, look at that smile. I mean, he's still loving
Love
this
the guy.
game. After so long, it's so cool to see a competitor like this. Actually, multiple competitors in this monthly final that have played the game for so long, still enjoying it, still enjoying the competition. But like you said, he's going against Mo. It's wild how dominant Mo has been in the Clash Royale League ever since like 2021. Was it 2021 or 2022 that Mo got
2021 was the
second?
year when everyone was like, this guy is going to be the best player ever.
Right.
And I think that was when a lot of us were like, okay, we'll see. And then, yeah, he just like 2022 was the year he just got first place on ladder 4 months in a row or whatever it was. It was just absolutely insane. And of course, in 2021 World Finals, he got second place. So he's just been one of those guys that's just been, he's just been the dude. And you know, as you know, Juicy, for playing for so long, it's just the consistency is just unmatched. And here we go. Hog in game number 2 from Vitor, but he couples it with the Boss Bandit and Snowball. So Snowball, Ice Spirit, those will both be nice to deal with that Inferno. Evo Inferno out here from Mo Light, who looks like he's going to the skies. Is this the first time we're going to maybe see Lava today, Juice?
Yeah, it looks like it could be Lava for sure. Another option is maybe a Graveyard deck, but depending on Vitor's building, this could be a really nice match to bring Lava. If he doesn't have Tesla or maybe Inferno, Firecracker might end up being the only air defense, and there's the Skelly Drag, so definitely Lava, but he does have the Tesla. So this match is anyone's game. May the best man win.
Yeah, definitely some nice factors in Vitor's deck to help deal with the skies, the Snowball, Tesla, and Firecracker, and obviously having that Boss Bandit in for the 3-card cycle so you can get 2 Firecrackers out when you need to. We'll see how this plays out.
Inferno Drag cycled once again, trying to get the Evo and cycle. We'll see if we have a Lava Bridge. There it is. Lava Hound at the bridge, going to apply some pressure. Hog Rider to distract the Inferno Drag. To cycle to the Firecracker. and a snowball on offense to get 2 Hog Rider hits, but arrows on offense for Mo to try and break through with his Lava Hound.
Yeah, really nice damage done there by Vitor, and it looks like he should have a clean defense here. Lightning does come down. Okay, never mind. Spoke just a little bit too soon, but low on Elixir is Mo Light, so he goes far here with the... Well, that was weird. I didn't see the circle from the Earthquake. Did you?
No,
I just saw the...
that's a weird glitch I've been seeing recently. It's just like kind of invisible, but good Earthquake nonetheless, even though it's seemingly not there at all. It does take out the Tombstone. Hog Rider connects to the tower. Evo Inferno Drag on the board now, and he does have the arrows plus the the Hog makes it though with the snowball. Okay, if Vitor defends this, he wins the game. Let's see if he's able to make it happen.
Oh, what a tough defense this is going to be. There's the guards. Evo Valk is in. Evo Inferno making work happen. He's got to get something else on the board. Oh, the snowball just in time. Perfectly played.
Oh my gosh. Mohamed Light shaking his head. I'm not going to lie. I think if Vitor didn't have that Firecracker and Snowball there at the last second, so to make it so the Inferno Drag retargeted to the Firecracker, with the Evo charged up, it might have wiped out that tower if he wasn't careful, but barely holding on to the final second of the match. We are going to game number 3 between both of these amazing players.
Dude, I didn't even see the Firecracker until looking at the replay. Beautiful defense there from Vitor. Sometimes that's all you need to scream to the finish. Just drop everything you can on the board. And I got to admit, you know, when you first looked at the video of the Evo Inferno Dragon, I was kind of like, ooh, I don't know, man. This thing looks so broken. And then I kind of watched it more, and I was like, oh, wow, this card seems like it could be useless. But when you have it charged up and you have nothing else to place in front of it, it is one of the most brutal cards to deal with. And that was so... I mean, if that game was 3 seconds longer, Vitor loses it. And that was beautifully held on to. The snowball, too. The offensive snowball, just enough to push away the Evo Valk. All things came together for Vitor.
Yeah, that's a great call. That honestly was the game-winning play, right? I mean, the Evo Valk was there. And if you guys don't know, Evo Valk can just fully counter a Hog Rider. It will just continue pulling it away from the tower over and over again. But the Snowball, not normally paired with Hog, usually the Log, but the Snowball did a great job pushing it away, preventing the Tornado from happening at all. And then somehow, some way, able to cycle back to that Snowball for defense just to hold on to the very final second.
Now Vitor scheming away, trying to figure out what he wants here in game number 3. And also, I see a lot of people in the chat talking about the future of CRL for the rest of the year, what other finals, whatever monthly finals, where World Finals is going to be. Just stay tuned tomorrow and today. I think we're going to have some more information for you guys as the weekend goes on. Not going to say exactly when or where, so you just got to stay tuned in here to the Dragon League Gold Edition Finals, where we should be giving you guys a little bit more information on the rest of the year. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow. Remember, the only thing about tomorrow, and look at that smile, infectious. The only thing about tomorrow is that we will have our best of 5s as well thrown into the mix. So probably a little bit longer, a little bit more action for you guys. But today it's just going to be best of 3s, and obviously we will be getting through this second round of our upper bracket. We've got 2.5 more matches, if you will, in the upper bracket. And then we get to the fun part for us, fun part for the viewers, not so fun for the players, is our final 4 matches of the day. We'll be eliminating 4 of our players and giving them each $1,000. And of course, some of those CRL reward points. And you guys, as you can tell, whenever we get to game number 3, there's just always a little bit longer wait between the 2 games. Or I'd say 90% of the time, as these guys definitely feel the pressure of what to bring out in their final game.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much that goes into it in that third match. You have 2 full decks. There's 16 cards for each player that are not allowed to be repeated in this third game. So both players talking with their coach, trying to figure out what is the best possible combination of 8 cards that are still allowed to be played in this third match that can get the best matchup possible. A lot of the time at this level, you're just trying to prevent getting hard countered. If you can just get at least a 50% for a 50-50 matchup, that's a job well done from the coach. At that point, it's up to the players to figure out how to outplay in the gameplay.
Yeah, I'm so curious to see where Mo goes. Obviously, just using Evo, Valk, and Inferno. Spells that are out are Lightning, Arrows, Log, Poison. I wouldn't mind seeing Vitor maybe go to an Inferno Tower here in this final game. You know, be a good way to keep the RG at bay.
True.
You know, Inferno Tower, not the best against bait decks, but can usually help against the tanks. So maybe just one thing to think about building-wise. And then on Vitor's side of it, Juicy, we have Evo, Firecracker, and Tesla out. We have Boss Bandit, Snowball, and Earthquake out. And then in game number 1, he used Log and Poison. So Log, Poison, Earthquake, and Snowball are all out. And then Evos, we have Firecracker, Tesla, Bats, and Wall Breakers. So Vitor still actually has a lot of what's popular in the meta available to him. I mean, they both do.
Yeah, I think that, I don't know, man. I mean, I think there's a lot that could go down here. Obviously, we haven't seen bait yet. Obviously, Mohamed Light, a fantastic Royal Giant player. Both players, you know, it's just all a big mind game, right? Because, you know, do you play the bait or do they expect that? Do they find some creative options? Do you get ready to counter? There's just so many little things that go into every single deck pick. And in the end, it comes down to kind of a mix. Like a lot of the time, you're just trying to think of what your opponent has for decks available and then make a deck that is decent versus all of them instead of trying to snipe a specific one.
Yeah, and that's a really good point that you make. It's not about getting an 80-20. It's about getting as many 50-50s as you can.
Right. Interesting here. So we have Archer's Evo plus Ram Rider from Vitor, and Mo with the Ice Wiz, Ice Spirit, Barbarian Barrel, Goblins, and a Goblet. Most likely going to be some sort of Graveyard Cycle from Mo, and Vitor with a Ram Rider, Bridge Spam, Fireball. Already looking a little bit advantageous for Mo. Even with the drill instead of Graveyard, should be pretty solid.
Yeah, looking like he's had a lot of ways to kind of slow and stun and the double building. A lot of good options here.
I really like the Ice Spirit there. He's just playing the Ice Spirit while the Gold Knight's on the board. So he's able to cycle back the Ice Spirit for the Evo a little bit quicker. He doesn't need to play one card though. No, he doesn't play it. So the Gold Knight will actually come back and cycle over the Ice Spirit. Not truly activating the 3-card cycle unless you play a card after the card that you already played while the champ's on the board. I don't know if that made any sense, but hopefully someone back home got it.
Yeah, and hopefully if you didn't get it, you can play it back and listen to it a couple times, because it might sound confusing, but it is actually really important when you talk about activating 3-card cycle and the way that it works. It doesn't just automatically happen the second you play a champion on the board.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of does, but you know what I mean.
I know exactly what you mean. So, yeah, I mean, there it is, though. The Evil Ice Spirit does get in cycle after playing the Golden Knight, and it's so good for defending against the Ram Rider. I thought that Vitor might have been able to connect with that push since Mo didn't have enough for the Goblet right away, but the Evil Ice Spirit, once again, just really shutting that down.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Vitor makes the Monk matter in this matchup. I mean, the biggest thing... Wow, look at that prediction on top of the Archers. Still stays alive, but really nicely played there by Mo, and this would be a huge Gold Knight ability.
Oh my goodness, you're so right. I thought... I mean, just great plays all around. The prediction, Bar Barrel, followed by the quick reaction by Vitor to protect, and then the Gold Knight dash. Oh my gosh, but the Gold Knight makes it. Barbarian Barrel played one tile too far onto Mohamed Light's side of the board.
Dude, and Mo with the prediction Bar Barrel on top of the Inferno. I mean, this is why we love watching this guy play. You know, they're just really fancy predictive plays that they're not trying to win the game. They're just trying to make your opponent play uncomfortable. And Mo Light doing that wonderfully.
Man, it's so tough for Vitor to break through. He's doing everything in his power, and on the counter push, once again, Gold Knight and a Fireball coming through, increasing the damage lead even more. And this is the Mohamed Light playstyle. Get the damage lead, hold on to it, perfect defense, win the bridge battles. It's going to be tough. Vitor does have Evo Inferno Drag for last card. Maybe, just maybe, if he can get that locked on the tower for 1 second, he can make something happen.
Here comes the Ram Rider. You know that another hut is coming down. There it is. The Monk deflection on all of them, plus the Fireball. Now the Ram Rider Wow. I mean, Evo Ice Spirit, Goblins to catch, double stun, beautifully played.
Evo Inferno one-shots the Ice Wiz. Another Ram Rider in cycle. Mo's a little bit
He's
low.
going to take out the building. That's huge.
The Ram Rider connects. Golden Knight down, but the Evo Archers are sniping. Oh my gosh, Andrew, I cannot believe this.
Wow.
Oh
the
gosh,
Inferno. I mean, that's what we were talking about. The Evo Inferno. It becomes such a problem to hit Mo with his hands over his face. He recognizes this game was just stolen from him by the newest Evo in the game.
He's going for the counter push, though. He's trying to make something happen. He's switching lanes with the Evo drill, the Golden Knight, but a nice bar barrel up high from Vitor, preventing the Golden Knight from dashing. Fireball comes through, but he still has to defend.
The dash! The dash!
Wait, the dash!
Now we got Monk back in, tanking for that. Not enough elixir for the Hut. There's the Hut coming down last second. Fireball on top of the Hut. Ram Rider still pretty healthy. Fireball defensively from Mo, 437. Vitor should be able to steal this best of two.
The Ice Spear drops for the Goblins. The Ram Rider is still healthy. Not another Goblin in cycle, and he doesn't have log. He has to drop Goblins.
There it is!
But the Ram Rider connects, and Vitor with the upset 2-1 in the best of 3 versus Mohamed Lights.
Wow. Vitor taking the best of 3, and you can see Mo not happy about that. And, you know, we have tried for years to find the one thing that bothers Mohamed Light. And the only thing that we've ever been able to land on is that with the newest evolutions, he can kind of struggle with controlling them. I don't know if that's what this was, or if it's just going to add to that narrative. But that Inferno Dragon just changed the game. And you love to see this celebration on Vitor. You know he was devastated about 2024. And here he goes and does it against the best in the world. Love to see it.
Oh my gosh, this is making me smile, man. The hug.
I know, it's so sweet. It's so wholesome.
Oh my gosh. And he's so happy. This is not only huge just for beating our current world champion, but also that's going to really put him in a really good spot. Not only for points, but also for a chance to win the golden ticket for this monthly finals. Actually insane gameplay from Vitor75.
Dude, you're so right. His dad coming in. I feel as I've gotten older, I've gotten more emotional. I'm telling you, man. And that was really some sweet stuff there. You love it because you know Mo's not going anywhere. He's not even out of this tournament yet. But for Vitor, this was a really big moment in his career. You know, it's really hard as a great player when you miss the biggest competition that you were at the prior year, right? If you have a good 2023 and then you have a down 2024, we've talked about this with Lucas in the past too. You know, we were really proud of what he did in 2025. You have that down year, you need moments like this. And that was just so well done by both these guys. Vitor coming out with a W. And this is why we love CRL, man. This is why we love being here.
Wow. I mean, I don't know. That was just an amazing match. I love the Evo Inferno drag play. It melts the Ice Wizard. It melted the Gob Hut. And then seemingly Mo was straight back into it. He got the Golden Knight dash. He got the Goblin Drill connection on the left-hand side. But Vitor didn't let that get to him. He continued to apply pressure and also used the Evo Archers fantastically in that match. Despite the bar barrel predictions from Mo, he did a great job of using those Eve Archers to break through and get damage on the tower.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a great display of just like never giving up, just like what you're talking about. You know, there was so many fancy and good plays and early damage made from Mo. And it's also Mo that it's so easy to get in your head and just be like, oh man, if he's making plays like that, I'm not going to win this game. Or, oh man, I got predicted again. Like, how is he doing that? Or just like what you said, oh wow, I got damage. Now he just got a massive connection. Vitor just stayed strong, believed, and here we are. Mohamed Light going down to the lower bracket. He's been there 100 times before. He's won tournaments from the lower bracket, so we'll see if he could do his signature lower bracket run as Vitor stays alive. Let's take a look here at where we're at in the tournament because juicy. A bit of an upset really being said about Kitashiyan in that. It's just more about how dominant we expect Mohamed Light to be, although he did lose his first best of 3. So looking at what these guys ran, It was Kitashiyan who ran into Sub. It was a best of 3. They went the distance. Kitashiyan lost game number 1 playing that mortar deck that we saw a lot of at the beginning of the day, but he had skeleton dragons in there. He loses to Sub's RG, Evo Witch, Fireball, Dark Prince deck. So that's where we started. Then Kitashiyan bounces back and takes game number 2 in that very interesting mirror drill matchup. And then you called it out, Juicy. It was Sub that hit that ability on the Mighty Miner that then left him wanting for a ground tank on the right lane. And then Kitashiyan just goes pedal to the metal, Magic Archer piercing damage, Golden Knight connection, yada, 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 game over. Then we get to game number 3, and that's when Sub runs P.E.K.K.A. or Evo P.E.K.K.A, Evo Executioner, and that goes against Kitashiyan's Evo Wizard and RG Monk deck that Mohamed Light ran. So that's how the best of 3 started for Kitashiyan today. So it was actually a really good best of 3. It goes the distance. So maybe we're not giving him quite the credit that he deserves.
Yeah, I was happy with how he played, and you know, Mo, he is known for his lower bracket run, but I mean, even Mo has got to feel a little bit of nerves here. He's got a lot on his shoulders. Heavy lies the crown. This is an elimination match in our first monthly finals. I'm sure Mo wants to go all the way and really just continue to crown himself as the best with a golden ticket win here. But Kit is standing in his way. Kitashiyan has a great chance to really shock the world with this best of 3.
Shout out to Rich Slayton in the chat on Daddy Duty here today. Looks like he's showing up. People very excited to see Rich. Rich will be here tomorrow commentating. Obviously going to be very happy to be back in the booth with him. CRL has missed Rich Slayton here in 2025. Here we go. Kita, bottom of your screen. Mohamed Light with an early Ice Spirit connection based off of that high bar barrel. And a snowball's worth of damage goes in Mo's direction. 288 to 229.98. The best to ever do it. Going up against one of the best of the olden days. Evo Evolutioner is the funniest thing I've heard in CRL. Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, you say like 10,000 words over the span of a couple hours, and you're bound to mess up a few of them, so... No Evo Evolutioner in this game, unfortunately, as we do go to a drill matchup once again. Evo Snowball, Evo Valk, Evo Tesla, Evo Snowball. And this really is the deck, right? This is the deck / archetype of the weekend so far. Everyone has been running Evo Snowball with drill. We see right there Evo Snowball coming in, Bar Barrel out, Ice Spirit out. And you wonder, as the weekend kind of progresses and evolves, will we see a lot more Spirits plus Bar Barrels and Valkyries in general, just because we've seen so many drills, Juice?
Yeah, I mean, it's a great point. I mean, the Valk, the Bar Barrel, I mean, there's just so many counters to drill here. Probably because of that reason. I think that drill, Evo Snowball, I actually said this at the beginning of the season. I was like, you know what? I mean, it makes sense after this Evo Snowball. It got a couple buffs that drill would continue to become more and more popular. And it's cool to see that drill is just, once again, becoming super strong in the CRL meta.
Yeah, and it doesn't quite feel the same as it did when Evo Drill was everywhere. I don't know if you remember that meta where it felt like there was almost like there's something wrong. Yeah. Like it was too strong. Right. Whereas this, I think, is a great call, Juice. I think it does feel absolutely correct. And right there is what we were talking about earlier today. I was saying that Berserker feels like a little Prince defensively, and you know that little Prince charged up. We love to see it there. Finally showing up for the first time here today. Mohamed Light has actually always been a big champion of the Little Prince. He's been using it, or he's used it even when no one else does. So good to see that here. Yeah, I always have liked watching Mo play the Little Prince for that reason. Like, I put it at like the bottom of my not my Evos, but my champion tier list that I just made real quick impromptu on stream here, and. But despite that, it's still strong as the cheapest champion. Just being able to activate 3-card cycle for only 3 elixir, it makes a lot of sense. And also, again, just to, because, you know, I hear you say this, and this is what I was talking about today, is like its defensive capability also makes that even better, because then, you know, you're not really ever cycling it out of place when you don't have a position for it, because you're getting it into that 3-card cycle. And then the worst case scenario is that it ends up playing a little bit of defense for you. So, Little Prince in for Mo, and the lead is in hand of Kitashiyan at the moment, 2172 to 2308, as Mo sends in a drill here to the bottom left. That Valkyrie doing a very, very good job. I mean, the really nice thing, as you can see, and actually Kitashiyan actually kind of messed it up there as I was talking about it, is that he has 3 ways to defend the drill, Juicy, which would actually make him pretty impervious to the snowball, but he keeps messing it up.
Yeah, Mo just kept applying so much pressure, forcing out mistakes, using the Little Prince 3-card cycle, and I'm sure we'll see another Goblin drill very soon. Kit actually realized that as well, played the Valkyrie preparing, but Mo going to be doing another drill now, away from the Goblin, away from the Valk, with the Evo Snowball and cycle. Kitashiyan trying to get damage too, but Mo's just got this defense way more locked down.
Man, and the log value that Mo keeps getting because of the spears and the guards and everything, even the Ice Wizard, he's just able to throw in a log and just clean everything up.
And another login cycle for the drill Evo, and that is the play you need to make. You defend the drill, wait for the Evo Snowball, then log everything away. Perfect gameplay from Mo right now. This is what we're used to seeing watching our world champ play this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I've heard you say it on broadcast. I've heard you say it on stream. It's just when Mo abuses that 3-card cycle, he does it like no one else.
I know. Just so many drills, so many logs, so many snowballs. He uses the 3-card cycle, or he basically figures out what cards are most valuable in the matchup. He identifies that fact, and then uses 3-card cycle to abuse it even further. Kid, on the other hand, despite having, like you said, so many good drill answers, he still had no way of matching the absurdity that is the cycle of Mo's deck there.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just going to say, and I think you summed it up perfectly. And I think one of the examples was on broadcast when I was exactly that moment of being like, oh, he's got all these answers, and then it was, oh, but he's not using them correctly, is because, you know, you get the Valkyrie up high, then you get the barrel down low, then you get the Ice Spirit to catch, but then all that has happened, and then all of a sudden another drill is on the board. So then now your way to defend is with an Ice Wizard, and then the late drill because of elixir, or excuse me, the late barrel because you're low on elixir, and then you get the Valkyrie down as kind of a desperation move. So Mo, like you said, Juice, he recognizes which cards are causing problems. He recognizes which cards of yours are maybe not doing the job you need, and then just absolute domination. So Mo Light, drill, 3-card cycle, match made in heaven, as Kita loses game number 1 here. And yeah, that was just, I think it's just, you see someone get outclassed again, even though Kita is one of the best to do it.
I know. There's so much talk about, like, okay, what is the difference in skill level between a top 10K player and a top 1,000 player to qualify for CRL? And then there's the talk of, okay, what is the difference in skill level between a top 1,000 player and Mo Light, the #1 player in the world? And it's so interesting how many levels there are to Clash Royale. Just because you qualify for that first stage doesn't mean that you can make it to this event. And even if you make it to this event, it doesn't mean you can match up against Mo. And that's the situation we're seeing right here. I mean, like you said, nothing against Kitashiyan, obviously a fantastic player, but there's just simply more levels to this game than meets the eye.
Totally. And just to kind of expand on that, like talking to Josh, and I'm curious to hear your opinion on this, is like, I remember talking to Josh years ago about, like, you know, when is someone actually considered in the conversation for being a good pro? And he was like, unless you're in the top 100 consistently, you're not even in that conversation. And then he was like, I'd probably even argue maybe the top 50 regularly, because like what you're talking about, Juice, is you might be able to qualify regularly for stuff, and you might be in that top several hundred, you might be in the top 300, but unless you're in that like top 100 regularly, it doesn't seem like you could even, you know, be in this conversation. I don't know. How do you feel about that? Am I speaking out of turn, or do you agree?
I agree.
Or do you think it's even more narrow?
I think, I don't know. It's really interesting because you do have the players that are always top 200 or always top 1,000, but then you have like the Mo's, the Rileys, and the Ians that are like and even Morton recently. You look at the leaderboard, and it seems like they're just #1 every single day.
Yeah.
And it's like, how? Like, how are you doing this? Especially on ladder, where there's so much like matchup variance too. It's always really impressive to see.
Yeah, and then the other thing that people don't even talk about is like the marathon that it actually is to get to #1 on ladder. It's not just about winning games. It's about sitting there for hours and maybe staying up late to catch season end. And, you know, there's just so much more that goes into it than I think people think of. So here we go. It looks like Mohamed Light is going to a facelifted version of Valkyrie Magic Archer plus NATO Wall Breakers. So, you know, kind of a new look of something of old, and then kind of the same thing at the bottom of your screen. We're seeing, you know, some of what Bait looks like a lot these days, with 2 of those cards in the Princess and the Dark Goblin that are, you know, ranged units that do a ton of damage. Then you have 2 cards that are super baity that will demand responses, like the Barrel and the Suspicious Bush. And then, of course, you have the Champion in there in the Mighty Miner for the 3-card cycles. So this is really kind of what Bait looks like a lot of the time in 2025. And it's nice that it's a little different. I still don't like playing against it.
No one does, Andrew. No one does. The Dargob and Princess with the Evo Dargob too. I think Evo Dargob, in my opinion, might be the strongest Evo in the game currently. It's just so good. It gets 1 hit, and that poison will stay on whatever it hits until that unit is gone.
Yeah, and then that like, you know, mistakes beget mistakes. That Dark Goblin's a great example of that, because it's like all of a sudden you try to drop something and the cloud's still there, and then you've wasted, you know, swarm units, and you've just thrown elixir away, and yeah, it's very punishing. So Suspicious Bush going in the left lane, also a card that is sneaky strong, right? If you ignore a Suspicious Bush, you got to be willing to take a few hundred damage, and I actually think that's a great design for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think that it's a strong card, fairly balanced, but it really does well in decks like this, especially when you get to like double elixir, where it just seems like there's always one on the board, always like pulling your attention and your elixir away from where you want to use it.
Yeah, and the fact that there's always one on the board, I think, is just a testament to that being how you need to play if this is, you know, a deck that you're interested in. You know, I think sometimes people later in double and triple elixir, they start to get more sheepish about using their Suspicious Bush because it's so easy to respond to, but it's about baiting out responses. Like right there, you saw the delivery comes down to clean everything up, but it's really about the Fire Spirit getting damage for Kita there. So 2149 to 2236. Nice play there by the Japanese player.
I also love Kid just keeping princesses on the board. We talked about the Dargob and Suspicious Bush always being on the board, but this princess is just chilling in the middle of the map, sniping away at everything, chipping down, but also the fact that it's the only card in Clash Royale that will stay on your side of the map without slowly dying, like a building might, for example. It just is always annoying to deal with, forcing Mo to find different ways to try and take it off the board here and there.
Yeah, and you can see Kita there, you know, because Mo has sent the Miner to the Princess a handful of times, then overprotects the Princess, and then Miner gets on top of tower. So Mo Light doing a good job playing mind games, but is still down by 500 damage with no spell. They can, I mean, yes, there's the NATO, but no one's looking to steal a game with NATO damage.
So true. Gob getting up high, trying to take out the Marcher. Marcher does hit the tower once.
Ooh.
The wall breaker
What a
is
NATO
as well. Wade Mo might be back in this game all of a sudden. Never count him out. Delivery is in cycle for defense. Only 34 seconds left on the clock, Andrew. It's anyone's match.
Such a brilliant NATO there by Mo. There you go. Suspicious Bush on the right-hand side. Fire Spirit connects again. Barrel to the left. 1366 to 1270. Mohamed Light just barely in the lead by under 100 HP here. Another princess on the board. 2 princesses on the left side for Kita as wall breakers go down the right-hand side for Mohamed Light.
Goblin Barrel does get cleaned up just barely in time by the delivery once again. Mo is in the damage lead by about 100 HP. Will the Goblin Barrel be able to make something happen? Spear Gobs and a Tornado prevents.
Wow.
And Mohamed Light wins the match by just 94 HP.
A beautiful 2-0 there from Mo Light. And man, for some reason I felt like we were back in game one just because this was such a great chess match. But that is going to eliminate Kita. Mohamed Light with that smile on his face that did disappear after we saw him lose to Vitor, feeling good about his lower bracket run. And man, I mean, Mo's his calm and his demeanor and his recognition of the macro of the situation he's in has been really impressive all day today. I mean, obviously he lost that best of 3 earlier from Vitor, but as we saw in his opening set and in this set, and honestly still in his set against Vitor, he's just got this great patience about him today that is really kind of scary to play against.
I know. Yeah, I mean, it's always fun watching him play. Like, I don't care what anyone says. I think a lot of people throughout the years have been like, man, when's the next king going to show up? When is the next person going to show up to take Mo off the podium? But I don't care. I just love watching him. I never get bored of his gameplay. And I also just think it's really cool, like how humble he is too. Like, I feel like that's also like part of his success. He never gets arrogant or too prideful to think that his opponent doesn't have a chance to win, and that's part of the reason he's always locked in every single match.
Definitely. I mean, I think Mohamed Light's, one of, if not the best thing to happen to Clash Royale for many reasons, to make all the pros want to be better in game and out of game. That's one of the reasons why you hear people talk about the greats of any sport. For some reason, Roger Federer pops in my mind right off the bat. Like, they always call him the gentleman of tennis, and he was one of the best to ever do it, but he was also one of the great sportsmen of the game. And, Mohamed Light, just like anyone that plays the game, will voice his concerns about balances or about cards or evolutions, but he's never been a guy that's been hamstrung by it. He's always voiced how he feels about it, and then he's like, well, now I need to adapt and play. So yeah, I don't know who the next Mohamed Light is going to be. He's in his prime. He's been in his prime, for years and years. He's kind of found the game at the exact moment. He found CRL at the perfect moment in his life. So who knows? I really don't know. But as of right now, there's people like Riley out there. There's the Lucases of the world. There's people that have great showings and great moments, but now it's about the consistency. And really the only person I think that's shown even close to that level of consistency are Mugi and Morten. And Mo has clearly kind of eclipsed them.
Yeah, so true. The bracket's ready to be looked at once again as we have 2 more lower bracket matches to go through. Unfortunately, we have said goodbye to Kitashiyan and Batan so far. Each will make at least $1,000 and a few points for the leaderboard later. But next up, we have Sub and versus Rooney, and we have Ta versus Sam.
Gotcha. Sign up.